Review some of the geometry concepts. So to find the area of some of the figures that we've talked about, you're going to mostly use base and height. So please remember that the base and the height are always going to be perpendicular to each other. That means that they end in kind of a perfect T intersection or have a right angle. So for a rectangle and a parallelogram, the formula is area equals base times height. For a rectangle, it's pretty straightforward. You just multiply this number, and there's your answer. For a parallelogram, don't get tricked by this over here. These are just side lengths, they're not the height. The height has to be perpendicular to the base. So you need to multiply this number and this number. You do not need to multiply the side lengths. They have to be perpendicular to the base. For a trapezoid, you have to add base 1 and base 2. The way to recognize base 1 and base 2 is they were always parallel to each other. So sometimes the shape is turned off to the side, so you just have to know that the two bases are parallel to each other, and the height, of course, is perpendicular to the bases, both of the bases. They make a right angle. These side lengths over here are not what you're going to use to find area. So you would add base 1, base 2, multiply that by whatever the height is, and then divide it by 2, or multiply by 1/2. For a triangle, you have to multiply base and height together. Remember, this does not matter. It is the height. It has to be perpendicular to the base. And then you have to divide that number by 2. With a right triangle, it's a little bit easier to tell which one's the base and the height. In a triangle like this, the height is going to go straight up and down. Over here, the height might not even be shown in the triangle, but it's got to be perpendicular to the base. So it's got to go to the top of the triangle. So for a weird triangle like that, you wouldn't use something like this. That's not going to matter. It has to be the height of the entire thing. So not this one, you're going to use this height right here. For rectangular prisms, you would do area of the base times the height. What you're used to seeing is length times width times height, and that's the same thing. Area of the base is just base times height, or length times width, same thing. So if this is the length and this is the width, you would multiply those together, and then you would multiply by the base. Then here are some rules of triangles. So the three angles in a triangle have to have a sum of 180 degrees. So for this one, I know that x plus 33 degrees, sorry for my dog making noise behind me, plus 75 degrees have to add up to 180. You can combine like terms right here. X plus 108 has to equal 180. And then you can subtract 108 from both sides. So you know that x has to be 72 degrees for it to make a triangle. Another rule is that the sum of any two of the lengths of a triangle have to add up to greater than the third side. So these are not about angles, these are about side lengths. So over here, these are the two shortest sides, 4 and 3. So if I add that together, that equals 7. And since the third length is 6, 7 is greater than 6, so this does make a triangle. So make sure you've written down all the stuff I have in green for your notes.